Guys, XPlane 11 in virtual reality with this native VR support is truly a blast. The cool feeling of just sitting in that cockpit and flying around with that little Cessna airplane. Guys, this is one of the coolest moments I've had in virtual reality so far. The environment, the scale, the sense of depth is truly amazing. What's up guys, it's Vive. Welcome back. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Now it's time to jump into the virtual reality again. Today we're going up in the air, trying out one of the most advanced and authentic VR flight simulators, XPlane 11. This game has recently got native VR support, including room scale, motion controller tracking support, and fully interactive cockpits. Guys, I'm so excited to try this out. The new native VR support sounds very interesting, so why not just jump right into the virtual reality and we're gonna have some fun flying around with a Cessna 172 in VR. Let's go! Alright guys, here we are, XPlane 11 in virtual reality with the native VR support. We're standing in the hangar. This looks amazing, guys. And this is the main menu. Before we start off, I'm just gonna jump into the settings and I'm just gonna show you that I'm doing this on visual effects on medium. I also have the texture quality on high, and I hope my GTX 1080 Ti will be able to handle this. I'm not gonna use any anti-aliasing because I'm having super sampling of 1.5 in SteamVR already. And let's see, we have number of world object. I put this on medium and also no reflection detail. I think that's gonna be too much for my computer to handle. I have a Intel i7 4790K overclocked to 4.6 gigahertz. But have in mind, guys, I'm actually recording this at the same time, so I don't want to have this too demanding, so it gets stuttery. We're gonna use asynchronous reprojection as well to get the best possible reprojection, so we have silky smooth head movements at least. So guys, let's jump into a new flight. And I think I'm gonna just fly around with this Cessna Skyhawk. That's one of the planes I'm mostly familiar with compared to the other ones. We have Boeing 747-400, MD-82. We have another Cessna Skyhawk. Well, Cirrus Vision. There are so many planes, and there are more planes you can download online and buy as well as DLCs. So guys, we're gonna jump into airport. Let's go with the Midway, I think, Chicago Midway International. And also we're gonna do the weather scattered. I don't want to do this on clear or cirrus because I think scattered is gonna give us some more detailed clouds as well. And let's do it on daytime. Well, our Cessna is on the runway already, ready for takeoff. We're gonna jump into it in a second. Wow, this looks awesome. Look at the clouds, it really feels nice. It really feels polished. The textures are good as well. I'm using high textures and everything just feels so polished, and wow, I'm getting some reprojection already, I can tell, asynchronous reprojection, but hopefully this is not going to be a problem while flying. So as I said before, we can teleport around and choose the heading after the teleportation like this. So let's teleport to the airplane, and we're just going to try to open up the door here. Look at this. Let me just teleport further, and if we want we could actually sit as passengers, as you can see, but this time we of course play as the pilots, guys. Let's jump in. Wow, this is so cool, man. What a nice feeling of just sitting in this plane. It really feels like I'm sitting on this chair, and it's a very narrow and small airplane. Wow, I really get the immersion already, guys, and I haven't even took off into the air. Awesome. So guys, let's start off by closing the door like this. And before we start off this engine, I want to show you the X-Pad. It's over here, and the X-Pad is for the GPS navigation. We can move around the map like this with the trigger on the left button or right button, depending on which one you're holding with. And also we can zoom in and zoom out, of course. And well, have a look at this. It's so detailed. We have so much detail here. And also you can have this X-pad on the yoke here as well. Or you can move it, or you can move it to this yoke. And or maybe just have it floating around like this, so we always have it visible, but without it being well in your vision while flying. That would be quite stupid. I'm just gonna put it over here at this yoke, and we're gonna start off this plane. Guys, first of all, take a look at the gauges here. Wow, it's so detailed, everything is so sharp. As I said, I'm using super sampling of 1.5 and I can read everything here, guys. I'm gonna give you an example. Warning, assume that seat is locked in position. I mean, I can read that minimal text over here without a problem. And also, if you're using the Oculus Rift instead in this game, you're gonna probably have even sharper image, because the Oculus Rift is a little bit more sharper in most games, I think, especially in simulators like this. So what we're gonna do now is to start off this airplane, and let's start off by turning on the master switches. Wow, I'm so excited about this. Also, let's turn on the avionics panels. There we go. Wow, look at all this stuff here. I mean, there's so much things you can change and do here. I'm not gonna go into this now. You probably know more about this than I do. But still, there's so much things you can change. The radio frequencies. You can of course talk to the air traffic control and the towers, and wow, amazing stuff. And every one of those knobs, everything is actually interactive. You can change everything here in this game. And it feels very, very good as well. I mean, it feels like I'm touching it, and there's haptic feedback, like a vibration every time you move something, and well, change it. I feel like a very subtle vibration in my controllers, and that is just awesome. So guys, let's start off by turning on some of the stuff here. Fuel pump, I'm gonna turn on the beacon. Landing lights are not necessary, the taxi light neither. I think navigation lights, strobe, and pitot heat. I'm not sure if I need this on, but I'm gonna have it on for now at least. So we're gonna turn on the ignition with our left hand. I'm gonna hold it like this, and then we're gonna move the mixture with our right hand. So I'm gonna pull it out, and I'm gonna turn this on. So we start off the airplane. And then I'm gonna move back the mixture like this, and the airplane is on now. Wow, lovely feeling, guys, amazing stuff. Wow. So as you can see, we can move the yoke like this. If we click on it once with the trigger button, we're gonna get stuck to it, so we can control everything like this. And this strange thing is that we're not pushing it forward and backward, we're actually tilting it forward and backward. So we're tilting the controller like this to move it forward and backward, to go down and up. And also we're rotating the controller to make those turns, instead of like, well, it works like this as well, but it feels a little bit different than I was expecting it to be. Anyway, guys, so what's next? We're gonna take off the brake in a second. Oh, let's see the flaps. So cool. I don't think we're gonna need any flaps now, not for the takeoff. Well, I hope not. I don't even remember that, if that's needed or not. Anyway, I don't think we need to turn on anything more here. Most of the stuff are on. So what we're gonna do now is to grip that yoke, and we're gonna turn off the brake, and we're gonna get some throttle, full throttle, and we're gonna lift off, guys. Wow, it's very responsive, it's very sensitive, the yoke controlling. Whoa, 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 I'm drifting up. Okay, let's go up, let's go up. Oh, whoa, guys, we are flying. This is amazing. Wow. Okay, I know I'm not flying the perfect way as I should, but this is just a test to see how this feels and how this looks. in virtual reality, and so far I gotta tell you, this is amazing. Look at the airport. Wow, it's very detailed. I was not expecting this level of detail with the medium settings. It looks very, very polished. Wow, awesome. So I can change my hand, so I don't need to steer it with the left hand. I can use it with the right hand, or I can just release it by clicking the trigger and it's gonna fly by itself. Well, I don't actually remember if there is any autopilot here and where that switch is. Here's the heading and stuff. We're not gonna change those things. So I'm gonna have to, well, move or hold to the yoke all the time. Sorry for saying it wrong. I know it's called yoke and not joke, but you know, I'm Swedish. I used to say things very, very wrong. So we're gonna fly towards Chicago. I think that's Chicago actually. And we're gonna see how it feels. Whoa, let's go up for a bit, for a moment. I'm just gonna touch the clouds, hopefully. And as I said, guys, everything here, you can interact with it with your HTC Vive controller or the touch controller. It's just so easy to change everything, get haptic feedback while doing it to really feel if you are changing anything or not. And wow, we're starting to see the Chicago now. I'm so excited. Wow, look at that. There are cars and trucks down there on the highways. It's crazy, guys. This is just crazy. There's so much detail into this. I think I'm gonna go down so we get some more sense of depth, and we're gonna look at the buildings and all the stuff around. Man, this is unbelievable. Wow, so we're getting closer to Chicago now. I'm gonna release the throttle a little bit only. So guys, we are above Chicago now. Look at this. This looks so freaking cool. Wow, amazing. What a feeling of just flying around here. And have in mind, this is not full graphical settings. It could look much better than this, but still I think this looks so freaking nice. I got some occasional stutter at times, but the reprojection is doing a great job. I think it just feels very nice to fly around. I don't get any nausea or anything. It just feels right. Wow, this is amazing, guys. Also, I'm gonna jump into the settings here. I'm just gonna switch my hand and I'm gonna control the aircraft with my right hand like this, and I'm gonna jump into the settings, and by pushing the application button above the touchpad, first of all we have that pilot reseat, so we can reseat ourselves in the airplane. I think we're sitting quite good, so I'm not gonna do that now. Also, we have some flight config. We have the pause, so we can pause the game. We can replay if we want to replay anything. And also we have views. Let's go into views. This is the 3D cockpit view. This is the one that we are using right now, seeing the 3D cockpit. Let's jump into the circle. Whoa! Wow, this is just amazing. Look at this. So I'm moving my touchpad. Whoa, man, I'm gonna... Oh, I can still steer it like this with the right touchpad, and I can use my left touchpad to move the camera. Wow. So you can fly in this game like this as well if you would like. Wow, amazing. So let's jump into the menu again, and I'm gonna go into view, and we're gonna take the tower view. Oh, so we are seeing this from the tower. It's a little bit glitchy, as you can see. Who cares? Let's jump back before we crash this aircraft. We have a chase mode and a ride along. Well, let's do the chase mode. Whoa, that is close. We could actually crash into this building. Wow. I'm amazed. This is so cool. Wow. And if you have the game details on high, I think you're gonna get more buildings and more detailed Chicago as well. This is just medium settings, guys. So this game could look much, much better. Okay, let's jump into the view options again. We can have a ride along. Oh, so we get a little bit closer to the aircraft, as you can see. We can still rotate it around. Wow, this looks so nice. Look at this. Man, amazing. So let's jump into the airplane again and to the 3D cockpit view. Whoa, sorry guys. And we're just gonna do a U-turn here. And I'm gonna go down and try to fly past those buildings at a very low altitude. So I'm steering with my right hand right now. I'm gonna change that to my left hand like this. It's so easy to just change it so we can start to interact with stuff with our right hand as well, like that. I mean, it's so cool. Wow, the details on the terrain are just awesome. Well, I'm gonna put this here and I'm gonna try to do a U-turn any moment. I don't have full throttle right now. I don't think that's needed even. Wow. I'm gonna do more videos of this game, of course. This is just the first test to show you how it feels to fly XPlane 11 with native VR support. Wow. Crazy immersion, guys. This is just crazy. It just feels so nice to fly around. And of course, you can make this game so complicated if you are into flight simulators. You can do so much stuff. I mean, talk to the air traffic control. You can do all the procedures of those checklists. We can practically become a real pilot in this game. But this gameplay is only to show you how the game looks, of course. And I am a real noob on flight simulators. And I have been playing a lot of flight sim, especially the Microsoft Flight Simulator games in my younger years. But that was like 12, 15 years ago maybe. So I'm not gonna try to play like a pro here. I'm not used to this. And I have actually never played XPlane 11 before. I bought it actually now just because the VR support is added. And remember guys, this game is right now on Christmas sale. And you get it for 30% less. So it's around 40 euro, I think, or something like that. Wow. Immersion is just awesome, guys. So I think what we're gonna do now is to release some of the throttle, and I'm gonna try to land over there at this little airport. I think it's Meigs airport here in Chicago. Oh, wait a second, wait, I just need to try this. Can I open up the door while flying? Oh, yes, I can. Oh man, whoa, this is dangerous, this is dangerous. Whoa, why did I do that? Close it, close it. Oh man, that was quite creepy to actually fly with an open door. Also, you see a little bit of haze around here. That's the window reflection. You can turn that off actually. And if I go outside of the airplane, it's much more clearer, and also the sound is more loud. Of course, that's not possible in real life, but in virtual reality, everything is just possible. So guys, let's try to land this thing on the runway over there. It's a very small runway, so I hope I can do this. I'm gonna turn on the flaps down. Whoa, not that much. Like this, better. A little bit more throttle. And I'm gonna try to land this thing, guys. Maybe a little less throttle. So as you can see, the runway is over there. And this is actually my first flight ever in XPlane 11, and I'm doing this in virtual reality. This is quite amazing. Oh, let's turn on the landing lights. There we go. Oh, there are the landing lights. That was the taxi lights, but let's have them both on. Wow. The water looks good, and I think it could look much better if you higher up the detail quality. Also, I don't know how we do the rudder thing, the pedals. I think it's made automatically, but of course we don't have any feet tracking. Maybe with some trackers someday, maybe they will add that support. Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on. Don't crash, don't crash. Come on. We're gonna land this thing. We're gonna land this thing. Come on. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, let's throttle, let's throttle. Oh, I made it. Oh, yes. Look at that. Guys, we landed on Chicago Meigs Airport. Whoa. And I think I'm gonna pull the brake here to just, there we go. And we don't need to taxi off this runway now, I think, because, well, that's not necessary. Wow. Amazing stuff. Guys, I know this is just a short gameplay of showing you how the game performs, but I mean, the performance is not great. We have a lot of reprojection, as you can see on my controllers here, but it's still fully playable. I don't feel that while flying, and that is awesome. Wow. Amazing stuff, guys. So I'm gonna do more videos of the XPlane 11 in virtual reality. I'm gonna try jumbo jets as well, like the Boeing 747. But for now, this is it, guys. Let's turn off the engines, the master switches, and we're gonna jump into the studio and talk a little bit more about XPlane 11 in virtual reality. Well, I don't know how many times I said wow and amazing in this video, but this is one of the few VR experiences that really deserves it. Guys, XPlane 11 in virtual reality with this native VR support is truly amazing. This video, whatever you see in this gameplay video, does not make any justice to the game. It looks so much better in virtual reality. It's so much more immersive. I have a hard time to actually explain to you guys the cool feeling of just sitting in that cockpit and flying around with that little Cessna airplane. Guys, this is one of the coolest moments I've had in virtual reality so far, and I'm truly amazed about the work the developers have spent into making the VR support, the native VR support in this game. The interaction is just phenomenal. Being able to interact with everything inside of the cockpit, every gauge, every knob, every button, it's just so freaking realistic. So I don't have words for it, and if you are a big flight simulator fan, you're really gonna appreciate it, because this brings the flight simulator genre into a whole new level. You know, after the gameplay, I spent around half an hour more just flying around in that Cessna 172, and I can tell you that I could spend all day just sitting in there, flying around, taking off, do landings, and just explore the scenery, because the environment, the scale, the sense of depth and everything you got in VR in such an VR simulator is truly a blast. And I'm not gonna do any review of this game yet, because I want to spend a lot of more time in this simulator. Just like I want to play Fallout 4 VR every day, I will probably play a lot of XPlane 11 in virtual reality, because this is one of this year's best VR experiences so far, no doubt. So as I said, this is not going to be a review, but I would like to talk a little bit about the VR implementation of XPlane 11 and a few flaws and issues that actually are there in this current beta branch of the XPlane 11. So first of all, to be able to play this game in VR, you have to go into the beta branch of the XPlane 11. So you go into the properties of the game in Steam, you select the beta tab, and then you opt in into the latest public beta version. When you're done so, the Steam will gonna update it into the beta, and then you can start off the game. But wait a minute, before you start off the game, do not start up Steam VR, because that will not work. You need to go into the game, and actually without the VR enabled, you go into the game, you go into the settings and the graphical options, and in the bottom right corner you will find a checkbox called Enable VR, and you have to press that little checkbox, and then the VR support is enabled, and it's gonna automatically start off Steam VR, and the image is just gonna pop up in your headset whenever you're playing with HTC Vive or the Oculus Rift. Also, there is another issue as well, and that is, if you want to start off the game, you cannot have Steam VR running while starting off the game. That's very strange, because I tried it like 10 times and I couldn't just make it. So the only way I could actually start up the game was to close down Steam VR and then start off the game from the Steam, and once it's starting up, it's like a procedure for around 10 seconds, it's loading up some stuff. During that time, it's gonna automatically start up Steam VR by itself, and then you will get the picture in the HMD. But if you have the Steam VR running already before you start off the game will just crash. I don't know what's wrong. Maybe that's because of my computer, maybe there's something wrong, but I was actually running this game on my clean install of Windows that I've been talking about before in my Fallout 4 VR optimizations videos, so it is a clean installation, it just should work. Further on, let's go into the performance. The performance is quite bad, to be honest. I get constant reprojection in this game. I'm using a GTX 1080 Ti with an Intel i7 4790K overclocked to 4.6 GHz, and I have constant reprojection. I tried to play the game without reprojection, it was just a stuttery mess. I tried the game with always on reprojection, it was still a stuttery mess. When I turn on the asynchronous reprojection, the game gets playable, of course, and as you see in this gameplay, it runs quite well, and I had almost no problems at all playing this game at all. But the reprojection is still there. As soon as you leave that main menu and go into that airport or jump into the cockpit, it's gonna be a reprojection mess all the time, and you can see that by moving your Vive or Oculus Rift controllers. And I'm a little bit concerned because I'm using one of the best graphic cards on the market, and I don't know how this game will work on systems with a GTX 1070, for example. I wonder if it's gonna even work. I mean, we don't want to play XPlane 11 in virtual reality with low settings. This is one of the beauty with this game, the surroundings. We want to explore it, we want to see it, we want to feel the level of detail in this game, and that's what I actually did with medium settings. It was awesome looking. Even though I was not running anything on high, it still looked beautiful, and this is the way I want to see this game, or maybe even more beautiful than this, but I will definitely not go down with the settings too low. Also, to play this game and really see all the gauges, you will need some super sampling. I was using super sampling of 1.5 in Steam VR while playing this, and I could clearly see everything. It was super sharp, I could read the smallest little text there as I showed you, and it was no problem. But without super sampling, I think you will have problems to see some of the gauges and some of the text under those buttons and knobs. So having super sampling on and playing this game on a GTX 1070, I wonder how this will work. So I'm a little bit worried about the performance, but for me, playing it with this reprojection, it was still a blast. It was not a big problem. I could not feel a lot of the reprojection while the airplane was moving, and my head movements are of course silky smooth. The airplane movement and all the surroundings around you will get a little bit stuttery, but I thought this would be a bigger issue than it actually was. I didn't expect it to be so smooth anyway, despite the reprojection. So if you have a GTX 1080 Ti, I think you will not have any big problems playing this game, even though it will reproject a lot. But if you have an older graphic card, I think you can suffer from some heavy stuttering as well, because I had a few moments where I had some stutters when I moved my head around. Maybe it's because of the recording, I don't know, but still, I wish and I really hope that the developers will spend some more time on the performance, because it needs to be fixed and improved. And also, I've been talking a lot about the interaction in the cockpit. I mean, using those Vive controllers to change any settings, to move all the gauges, and to do all this interaction with the Vive controllers. It's awesome, but it's still not flawless. It is a little bit glitchy at times. You're gonna see that if you try out this game, that sometimes you really have to find that button, and maybe it's because of the controllers are not so small, of course, and those buttons and those knobs and those little gauges, some of them are very small, so it's gonna take some time. And also using that X-Pad, that iPad with a GPS was a little bit tricky. I had to actually cut it off from this video, but sometimes I couldn't grab it, sometimes it just flew away, and it was a little bit glitchy. So there are issues with the interaction, but have in mind, guys, this is a beta version, the first public beta version of this VR support in XPlane 11, and so far this is really promising. So all in all, this is a great experience, but I'm not gonna talk too much about it right now because I want to try more. I want to do some more gameplay videos of this. I want to try all the aircrafts. I want to try a lot of different airports and also some other weather conditions and the nighttime sunrise, sunset. And there's so much to try out in this game. We have a flight school and there's so many challenges in this game. So I really think I need to dig deep into it before I made up my mind about if this really is the best VR flight simulator out there. Well, time will tell. I'm sorry I have not replied to all your comments. I've been so busy this latest week. You know, it's been Christmas time and so, but I've been celebrating Christmas in one day. After that, I went to work and I've been working the last 4 nights. So everything has been a mess, but I will try to catch up. I'm not sure if I will be able to catch up replying to every comment, but I will at least try to do my best, guys. Sorry for being so, well, distant from everything the last couple of days, but I will catch up and there will be better days coming up very soon. So guys, take care for now, have fun and see each other hopefully on a Saturday again. Well, definitely before New Year's Eve. Take care, guys, have fun in virtual reality. Cheers.